For a few seasons in the mid-2000s, one man was, by common agreement, the finest footballer alive. He glided past defenders as if they were not there. Then almost overnight, his powers faded. This is the rise and fall of Kaka. Kaka was a Brazilian attacking midfielder, a classic number 10, the creative heart of a team. But he did not play like the streetwise Brazilians of legend. He was elegant, upright, and almost graceful. He came from a comfortable, religious family, unusual for a Brazilian star, and he carried a calm, humble manner off the pitch. On it, though, he was devastating, especially when running with the ball. His signature was the driving run. Kaka would collect the ball in midfield and surge forward at speed, carrying it 30 or 40 yards through terrified defenders before slipping in a teammate or finishing himself. He made his name in Brazil, then moved to AC Milan in Italy, one of Europe's grand old clubs, for a modest fee. It would prove one of the great bargains in football history. At Milan, Kaka blossomed into the best player in the world. Surrounded by experienced stars, the young Brazilian became the one who made them tick, the spark that turned a good side into a great one. The peak came in the 2007 Champions League, Europe's biggest club competition. Kaka was unstoppable throughout the run, scoring stunning goals and dragging Milan all the way to the trophy almost single-handedly. His performances that season were breathtaking. Against the best defences in Europe, he ran through entire teams, and Milan lifted the trophy with Kaka as the undisputed star of the whole tournament. That year he won the Ballon d'Or, the award for the world's best player. He had reached the very summit of the game, admired everywhere as the most complete attacking footballer alive. Here is a detail that captures his place in history. Kaka was the last player to win that award before a certain two names took over. After him, Messi and Ronaldo won it between them for over a decade. So Kaka stands almost as the final champion of the old world, the last of a line of classic number 10s to be crowned the best, before the game changed and two relentless goal machines dominated everything. At that peak, every giant club wanted him, and in 2009, Real Madrid, chasing their next galaxy of stars, paid a world record fee to bring the reigning best player in the world to Spain. It should have been the perfect marriage, the world's best player at the world's grandest club. Instead, it became the start of his decline, and the fall was as steep as the rise had been glorious. Part of it was the setting. Real Madrid were assembling a squad stuffed with superstars, and in that crowded, high-pressure environment, the calm creator who had been the centre of Milan became just one of many. But the real killer was injuries. Kaka's game was built on explosive driving runs, and a series of knee and muscle problems robbed him of exactly that. The burst that made him special began to disappear. Watching him after the injuries was sad. The elegance remained, but the acceleration was gone. He could still pass and think, but he could no longer surge past defenders the way he once had. He was never quite the same player again. There were flashes of the old Kaka, but the consistent, unstoppable force of the Milan years never truly returned, at Madrid or afterward. He eventually returned to Milan and later played in America, always classy, always respected, but as a fine player rather than the best on earth. The peak had been brilliant, but brief. Now the debate. Some argue Kaka is slightly underrated in history, precisely because his peak was so short, sandwiched between eras and cut down by injury, before he could build a longer legacy. Others say that for those 2 or 3 seasons, he was as good as almost anyone has ever been, and that a peak that high, however brief, deserves to be remembered among the greats. Here is the sharp point. Injuries robbed football of one of its most beautiful players in his prime. We saw the best of Kaka for only a handful of years, and were left wondering how much more there might have been. He also marked the end of an era. As the classic number 10 slowly died out, replaced by pressing forwards and deep playmakers, Kaka was among the last to play that graceful, old-fashioned role at the very top. So that is the rise and fall of Kaka, from a bargain signing to the best player in the world at Milan, then a record move and a cruel decline that took his brilliance away far too soon. My verdict: remember the Milan years, not the Madrid ones. At his peak, Kaka was pure joy to watch, an elegant genius from another age, and injury, not any lack of talent, is what ended his reign. If you love football stories told straight, subscribe to Sports Vogue so the next one finds you, and share this with a mate who would argue about it all night. And tell us in the comments which story we should break down next. We will see you at the next one.